Hello, I'm Ileana and I'm very pleased to have you back in my crafty scrappy alcove for another one of my 12 days layouts. And this picture, taken on the 29th of November 2 years ago, 2011, is going to form the basis of this layout, in which I'll be using as many pairs as possible of these decal-edged and so forth scissors and a lot of older stash. And this Bow Bunny paper, in fact, I'll be using that quarter of it there to back the picture because it kind of fits the colouring, which is all about the hot dog. Now that spotty paper has got to be one of the ugliest papers I possess. It's quite old. It came from a massive paper pad, probably die cuts with a view or something like that. And I must have thought it was amazing at the time because there wasn't all that much option. But I love to challenge myself and use old stash, and so I've inked the edges and used those amazing decal edge scissors. Now these ones my boys have actually broken the blades of. I've pleasingly fixed them since doing this video with a nice dollop of glue, but they were really tricky to use. These scissors actually I have already donated, as I tend not to use them in my scrapping anymore. But it was really fun to get them back out and try them on as many of these papers as possible. So that's a Tim Holtz paper. I think it's Easter themed, but once it's all laid up, it will hardly feature, well, except for looking as a really nice mat to the rest of the kind of photo cluster. And the layout is of my dad. The boys call him Morfar because that means granddad in Swedish, and he's my dad, so he gets the Morfar. Although his parents to me would be Farmor and Farfar, who have sadly passed away. But anyway, that's a nice little Swedish lesson for you. So this is just a plain bit of yellow card, and I'm using as much ink as I can to kind of just soften the edge and also give it a smoky feel, since it's food themed. And you'll see that in just a moment. And I'm using the scissors, I thought quite craftily there, to emulate a bite out of the corner of those pieces of paper with a kind of a bready white double edge to it there, as you can see me just constructing. The hot dog. Why have I used that? Well, in the picture itself, my dad is holding one of the boys' toys, which is of a hot dog. Well, actually, it's one of my husband's food models that he uses in his nutrition work, and it's very lifelike. So my dad was inspecting this because it's not like an ordinary toy, and it's very heavy as well. And anyway, so that's the picture of the boys kind of all over him, and which is a really lovely kind of cosy feel. Now this hot dog actually came from Sweden, and there's the company. It came from Gallerix, or I don't know how you pronounce that, but it's a lovely little shop that sold way back when I bought that, lots of postcards and stationery and the like. And there were loads of foodie kind of postcards, and I guess I was quite taken by them. And I've had that kicking around for a while, so it was really nice to marry that up with the picture of my dad and use it on this layout to create the layout, which I've called Tempting Yum But Do Not Eat. And I've used various fonts to create that with as well. And so to give this layout quite a lot of texture, apart from the texture that the decal edge scissors themselves produce, I've decided to kind of rough up the edges. So there's a mixture of the inked edges, the texture scissors, and then kind of just physically pushing up the edges. And then just this technique I've picked up along the way on some YouTubers' videos is to stick a little square dot to just give it a bit of relief on the corners so that it doesn't sit flat ever once it's behind the sleeve. Just cutting the photo to size there, and I'm matting that with a bit of kind of wood effect, wood grain paper. I can't remember the collection that comes from, but it was lying around, I'm sure, from another layout I've done. So to waste nothing, I'm just using that bit there, but I will be using that scrap up in the top right corner to create another little cluster, as you'll see me do later. And I haven't really gone in for journaling much on this page. So all I've written is Lorenzo and Elias enjoyed playing tricks with Morfar. But that's it. That's all I've gone with. There is the word Morfar at the top, as well as a little sticker that says hug, laugh, smile. And the date, 29th November. Apart from that, no writing. But I think it's because the title says all it needs to say, really. And there we have little Elias's hand. He recognises himself from a couple of years back, and he's probably questioning me. Is that me? Or something like that. And is that Morfar? Probably as well. So it's always cute to have him buddy along when I'm scrapping. And then he's probably run off and played with his toys again. So I'm just single stamping the date with an office supply stamp, just to keep a record of when the picture was taken. And I'm pulling out, of course, these October afternoon stickers just to kind of embellish some of the corners, and and some Bow Bunny stickers which go with the collection, I think, or if they don't, they look like they do. And so I've used the swirls, which of course I think has the effect of kind of the waft of food, the flavours and the smells of food. Well, in the comics I used to read as a kid anyway, that's how they always used to kind of give the impression that something was hot and tasty, or smelly, whichever way you want to look at it. And so I thought anyway that would look quite nice here, and of course it also uses up my stash. So I like using up those stickers, which I will have bought in the sale probably a couple of years ago. Anyway, so just committing this cluster down, and then I'll be working, I think, pretty much in tandem with the top right corner. And this layout is beginning to end. I've kind of edited it so as to cut out some of the dross, but what piece I did miss out from the filming is post-film, I was showing my husband the layout, and he said, why don't you just put that sticker on top of the bottle cap? So you'll see me use one of my husband's beer caps just about now, where I put that little sticker in the top left of the photograph. Somewhere around there I'll be popping in this tag that I'm cutting out, on top of which will go the bottle top, and it will look blank as I finish this layout, but in the stills at the end you shall see that I've used a little sticker, which I think is just the right suggestion, and I liked doing that. When my husband suggests things to do, it does make me quite pleased to be able to incorporate those. Now that little triangle you might just recognise from a previous layout. It's the October afternoon, kind of the Western themed papers with a cowboy on it, and I've forgotten the name of the pack, but it doesn't matter. The triangles, I've used those in the kind of playbook double scoop layout, and it's the same triangle there, which I thought looked just like a napkin. So I went ahead and laid that underneath the hot dog there. These two little gingerbread men, I think I stole those from my boys' magazine. They weren't really playing with them, and I thought I'd snaffle those and have them on my layout, and then everybody can enjoy them forevermore. They are just simply two gingerbread men that I thought might well go with the whole theme because of the way I've titled it, Tempting Yum But Do Not Eat. It reminded me of the kind of the gingerbread story. In fact, I might have made another layout called Snap Snap Gulp. I think that might be coming rather than one I've shown you. I'm all over the place with my layouts. But anyway, it's the kind of food thing. You can't eat me, I'm the gingerbread man, sort of an idea. And it kind of links in with the Christmas theme, since that's what we're trying to do as well. Since it's the 12 Days of Christmas layouts, as beautifully set by the Victoria Marie Facebook group challenges way back in December. So yeah, using that piece there that I cut already, and some washi tape by MT, a manufacturer I'm not really familiar with, but there's quite a lot of that kicking around, and now in my stash as well. So I've used that washi tape up there in the cluster at the top, and I've kind of layered a little bit of it on the, I don't know if you saw me do that, on the bottom left, just as the Tim Holtz paper kind of mats onto the black thin paper at the bottom. I've kind of, just in between the layers, popped a little bit for some suggestion of texture there, but it's not that prominent, to be honest. And where are we going? Yeah, so a bit more washi tape, also along the bottom underneath the Do Not Eat kind of cluster. Just there. And just there on the left. Oh, I thought I'd done that already. Very sorry. I'm ahead of myself. You would think that as I'm watching I'd be narrating. I don't know, I kind of ramble and then my mind drifts and I'm not really focusing on the picture. And then I come back to the picture in hand and I think, oh, am I talking about the right thing? don't know how it happens anyway, but so I've moved that sticker onto the tag. You saw me play with that sticker earlier on. And using the great gigantic crocodile to just create a hole into which I'll be using some of the cut off from the edge of the Tim Holtz paper to make kind of like the effect of string going through the hole, but of course it's paper. And I've just kind of secured that around with a bit of glue, but another piece of paper around, which you'll see a bit more easily in the close-ups at the end. Yeah, so it just looks like a luggage tag now, a bit more, I think. I believe the next thing, yes, I'm pulling out the stickers that I've had a long time from a shop called Accessorize here in the UK, and they do mainly kind of jewellery and hats and gloves and scarves and stuff like that, but they also have a little line of stickers and kind of stationery. So every now and again I find myself in there, and on this occasion, must have been a couple of years ago, I picked up those stickers. And since they are fruit stickers, well, personified fruit with faces, decided that they would also fit on this layout in kind of small spaces all around. So there's a banana near the gingerbread man at the bottom, and there's a lemon sticking on the tab, some really small sweets up on the tag as well, a little strawberry, a lollipop sweet up on the top right cluster, and just a few little things. I've heard from the latest from the CHA kind of winter show that it's puffy stickers that are taking the place of enamel dots. Well, okay, that might be the case, but there's nothing quite like enamel dots in my view. So although I've enjoyed using those stickers, and then they're not puffy, but I do have puffy stickers as well, I don't think that enamel dots will be that really easily replaceable because of their beautiful spherical shape. So you'll see me lay down a few of my own homemade enamel dots on this layout as well, all in the colour yellow. And here I am constructing my title out of various fonts. So I'll kind of whiz through that. This will spell tempting, and I'll kind of shift that up to the top of the hot dog in a minute. And just prior to that, you saw me use a white arrow from, was it a Chili Bean Soup collection? I can't remember. And some yellow Paper Mania foam letters spelling yum. And then back to this one to spell but. And that will go all those three words on the hot dog bread. And then into the kind of little frame sticker at the bottom will be these beautiful Amy Tangerine stickers I would have got from, I think it was the Quirky Kits bargain box I first ever got. So I don't think I got that as part of a collection. I hadn't subscribed by that point. And the rub-ons that I've had for years and years and years. And they will spell Morfar at the top of the layout. They don't show all that clearly. My fault, I've laid it onto cream. Had I put that over some black or a different colour, it would have shown a lot better. But it's kind of a suggestion. We already know who he is. I've referenced him in the journaling as well, so it's also not lost. But it's kind of nice to get use of some of these rub-ons that I've had for a while, the alpha rub-ons. And there I go with the enamel dots. Yeah, so the rub-ons, as I was saying, I kind of like a bit of tone on tone as well. Sometimes it's the suggestion and the texture more than actually the words themselves. And that's my theory. And so a bit of this Liquitex pen. I've tried to get it to shake all over the page. In the end, I've had to pretend it shook all over the page and just laboriously splatter some yellow round. And I don't think I've done a terribly good job of that, but it kind of gives it a bit more kind of fun and movement in my view. And so there's my journaling that I talked about earlier in some white pen. I can't remember the brand of that pen now. I try various ones. And I'm just going to pop the top cluster up onto some of that foam tape that I got that's green backed. Oh, and that, of course, that lovely bottle cap in the most beautiful shade of red, which really goes well on this one here. And that's the hot dog in question I thought you'd like to see. Well, thanks so much for watching once again. Look forward to seeing you again in the near future. Bye for now.